Right guys, how's it going? Welcome back to your football predictions for game week 35. We are getting very close to the end of the season now. We still are waiting to find out who's going to win the league. The race for top 4 is still going on, and the race out of the bottom 3 is heating up as well. But before we get into game week 35, those were my predictions from game week 34. I did okay. We still have the Manchester United versus Chelsea game on tonight, so who knows? I might get that prediction right still. But I got a few correct outcomes, but I only got one correct score. I got that Burnley would beat Wolves 1-0. As always, loads of you guys got involved in the last video with your comments, so I will put a load of them on screen now. Be sure to get your predictions down in the comments for the games this weekend, but as always, we will go through them together. Now, start things off on Saturday at 12:30 on BT Sport. We have got Newcastle taking on Liverpool, and I will be at St James's Park for that game on Saturday, so be sure to watch out for my reaction and vlog to come out after the game, and hopefully I might be celebrating a decent result. I say decent because I think a draw would be a good result for Newcastle in this one. Currently undefeated at St James's Park in the Premier League for 2022, so that's 4 months Newcastle haven't lost at St James's Park, and we have won the last 6 home games in a row, going for a 7th against Liverpool, which would just be crazy. But let's not forget we're taking on a Liverpool side who are just 1 point off the top spot right now. They have to win. If they want to win the league, they need to keep winning their games, and they're going to be all over this one. They will be. Well, I don't know, how do you see it? Because they've just beat Villarreal in the Champions League this week, so I'll say they'll be on a high from that, but it's an extra game. You know, they are currently going for the quadruple this season, so they've played a lot of games. I could potentially see some squad rotation for them, but at the same time, regardless of what players they put out, they need to get 3 points. For me, again, as a Newcastle fan, I want to see a good game. I want to see high scoring, end-to-end stuff. I think if Liverpool score first, they could well get a few. I think if Newcastle score first, Liverpool are going to have to open up. They're going to have to go for it, and that's when we could see a really good game. So I'm hoping for an early Newcastle goal to be followed by some just end-to-end football, and I've gone 2-2. Again, that's a high-scoring draw, which I think will be a great result for Newcastle. Wouldn't be so good for Liverpool. So let me know your thoughts on that one down below. Moving on to the 3 o'clock kickoffs now, and starting off with Aston Villa taking on Norwich. So Aston Villa sitting in 15th place, had lost 4 games in a row before they got a 0-0 draw against Leicester at the weekend. Again, Steven Gerrard did the overlap with Gary Neville. If you've not seen that, it's a good watch, to be fair. And to be honest, he really talks about the summer and next season, hoping to bring in some players to add to the squad this summer, and I think that's kind of where they are now, you know, waiting for next season. Norwich, I would say they're clinging on to this season because they are in bottom spot, 10 points from safety, lost 3-0 at home to Newcastle, and Newcastle are on a good run, but again, Norwich in front of the home crowds needed a performance, and they didn't give them one, and I think they'll probably lose this one as well, so I've gone Villa 1-0. Next up, still at 3 o'clock, we have got Southampton taking on Crystal Palace. So Southampton in 13th, Crystal Palace in 14th, both finishing mid-table this season. Southampton had some terrible news recently that Livramento was going to be out until the end of the season. What a player he's been for them, and are definitely going to want to try and hold on to him in the summer because he's a player who's getting rumoured all over the shop to be heading elsewhere. And then the other side, Crystal Palace, they're being linked back to an old player of theirs. Wan-Bissaka is being linked back to Crystal Palace this summer window. So if you're a Palace fan, let me know, would you like to see him back? And I've given a scoreline as exciting as the game looks like it's going to be. I've got 0-0. Next up, still at 3 o'clock in a game that could have a little bit more bite to it because it's Watford taking on Burnley. Watford in 19th, Burnley in 17th. Outside of that relegation zone, Watford are 9 points from safety, which means they're 9 points behind the team they're playing, Burnley. Burnley are 2 points ahead of Everton. Ben Mee obviously hasn't got off to too bad a start, has he, since he's taken over from Sean Dyche. Again, the question is, was that the right decision? We'll find out at the end of the season if they stay up or not. It's a must-win for both teams, isn't it? Because if Watford want any chance... I mean, I think it's over for Watford, if I'm being perfectly honest. But if they want any chance of staying up with not many games left to go. They've got to win this one. And Burnley, they've taken a nice step away from Everton, but Everton have a game in hand as well, which means Burnley have got to be winning their games. So I have gone 2-1 Burnley. I can see Watford scoring, but yeah, let me know down below. And the final game on at 3 o'clock, we have got Wolves taking on Brighton. So Wolves are currently sitting in 8th. 3 points off 7th, which would be the Europa League Conference. So they're still definitely in it for some European football next season. Form-wise, win-loss, win-loss. They lost the most recent one against Burnley, as I mentioned, 1-0. Does that mean they're due for a win this weekend? Quite possibly. Taking on a Brighton side who, again, have had some strange form. Sitting in 11th place. They had some tough fixtures where they beat Arsenal, beat Spurs, lost against Man City, and then drew against Southampton. So to be fair, they've picked themselves up of late and have got some good points on the board. Having said that, I think at this point in the season, the game means more to Wolves, and if they want Europe next season, they've got to start winning. So I'm going to go 1-0 Wolves. Moving on to the Sunday now, at 2 o'clock on Sky, we have got Everton taking on Chelsea. So I've already mentioned Everton, 2 points away from safety, 2 points away from Burnley, but they do have a game in hand. I say that the games they've got going on at the minute are tough games. They've just come off the loss against Liverpool. Now they're playing Chelsea, and they're not sitting in a good place. Players like Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin are already being linked away. The season's not even ended yet, so they aren't in a good place, and I don't think they're going to have a good time against Chelsea either, who, in fairness, as I mentioned, still have to play Manchester United tonight. So maybe they can catch them tired because Chelsea have played an extra game, but I've backed Chelsea here. I've gone 2-0. They're currently sitting in 3rd place. They're 7 points ahead of 5th, so that's the gap they've got on the other teams fighting for a Champions League spot, and I think they'll finish in 3rd, and I think they'll win this game. Next up, still on the Sunday, still at 2 o'clock, but not on TV, we have got Spurs taking on Leicester. So Spurs currently sitting in 5th place, 2 points off 4th, so they are still well within a chance of grabbing a Champions League spot, although, to be fair, you'd think they didn't want it, to be honest, with their recent results. They had won like 4 games in a row and were absolutely firing, and then lost against Brighton, drew against Brentford, which Brentford are on decent form, but again, it's just what Spurs team fancies turning up, to be honest, it seems at the moment. Taking on a Leicester side who, I mentioned this last week, I said Leicester's season was over, and someone corrected me in the comments. You're right, I would say it is in the Premier League, but in the Europa League Conference, they have got a game tonight against Roma, Jose Mourinho's Roma, and I think that's where Leicester's attention will be right now. And as I say, depending on how they play tonight, could well affect how they play in the Spurs game. I mean, if they win that one, they'll be absolutely bouncing in time for the weekend, although, it means they've played a game more recently. Spurs will have had more time to rest. And I've gone 1-1. Again, I think it could well be what team turns up for either. If Leicester want to rest players to make sure they have as great a run in the Europa League Conference they have, that'll benefit Spurs. And then Spurs, just depends on what team turns up. And at 4:30 on Sunday, and this one's on Sky, we have got West Ham taking on Arsenal. So West Ham are a team who are trying to juggle both, just like Man City and Liverpool are. West Ham have Frankfurt tonight in the Europa League, but at the same time are still pushing for that Champions League spot in the league as well. Most recently, they did lose against Chelsea at the weekend, which was not the result they wanted, and taking on an Arsenal side, another team who are trying to push for that top 4. Arsenal's form is just weird. They lost against Crystal Palace, they lost against Brighton, they lost against Southampton, and then beat Manchester United and Chelsea. So, I guess they turn up for the games when they need to, and with that in mind, I've backed them to win this one. I think it'll be a close game, but I've gone 2-1. Again, I just think the fact that West Ham are already playing in the midweek, Arsenal aren't, more rest for them. But I think it could be a good game. And to finish off on the Monday night at 8 o'clock on Sky, we have got Manchester United taking on Brentford. So Man United play Chelsea tonight as well at the time of recording. So they've got a game Thursday, a game Monday. They're currently sitting in 6th, which puts them in the Europa League. 4 points off 4th. So, if they beat Chelsea tonight, they beat Brentford at the weekend, they're back in it for a chance of the Champions League spot. So I think it's really going to go down to the wire. There's so much going on at Man United at the minute because they've obviously got Ten Hag confirmed ready for next season. There's questions over whether Ronaldo would stay if they don't get Champions League. They're getting linked to players already. It's just all over the place. I think they need to concentrate on the football as much as they can and then concentrate on the rest of that in the summer, but obviously it's not always the way it works. Taking on a Brentford side who are sitting in 12th and have turned it on. Like, I don't know what's going on with this Brentford side because they started the season so well, went quiet, slowly dropped towards that relegation spot, and then thought, hang on, we better start playing again. They've won 5 of the last 7. They drew against Spurs at the weekend, and you know what it is, like, you look at that on paper and the players that Manchester United have got, and you just think you'd back them. But Brentford are playing well, and Manchester United are trying not to implode right now. And I think depending on what happens in that Chelsea game, I mean, if they lose that game, I think it just puts heads down even further. I think if they somehow manage to scrape a win in that one, and then they are back in it for Champions League, they could well go out and beat Brentford by a few. I've backed them 2-1, but I've literally wrote down here no idea because I just didn't know what to predict for that one. So those are all of my predictions up there for the games this weekend. Be sure to get your predictions down in the comments below. I can't believe we're already on game week 35. I've been doing this every week since the start of the season. So if you have enjoyed this video, if you've enjoyed the series, be sure to drop a like. And if you want to see the final few prediction videos, be sure to subscribe as well. Although I'm sure I'll be back for the start of next season too. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.